Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Bookables. Today I'm here to do a vlog, which I don't think I've ever done a vlog specifically dedicated to one book, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it because I have a lot of history with this series, so why not? And that is a vlog of reading Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. So I literally just bought this morning, like an hour ago. The second prequel to the Hunger Games. So we have the original Hunger Games trilogy, Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay. And then we also got, a couple years ago, The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, which was President Snow's backstory to figure him out and things like that. And I liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't really care about his backstory. Yes, you learned more about him as a whole, but I'm very excited for this one because this is Haymitch's story, who, if you don't know, was Katniss and Peeta's mentor. He is the District 12's mentor. He won, I want to say, the Quarter Quell. Was the second Quarter Quell, so maybe the 50th Hunger Games, I think? Yes, the 50th Hunger Games. So that means it was double the tributes and things like that. So this is all about his time in the arena, and I'm very excited for it because I love the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games is one of the main reasons why I started a BookTube channel, because back then, YA dystopian was it. Like, the first ever series I fell in love with was Harry Potter, and then when I got to be kind of more of a teenager, like 17, 18, 19, that's when I learned about Hunger Games, Divergent, things like that. And man, that is when BookTube really kind of started. It kind of, that's when I started my channel. So I'm very excited for this one. So this video is going to be pretty much me reading this book. It's going to be spoilers because it's a whole reading vlog. But I will try to do, when I finish it, kind of my feelings on it as a whole. I'll put the timestamp right here in case you want to hear about my thoughts as a whole without any type of spoilers. But for the most part, I'm just going to take you along with me reading it. I'm going to react to it, things like that. I will take you along with my week as well, because I can't just read for this is probably going to take me a week, because I'll probably just read it slow because I want to read it slow. I'm also probably going to go, and you know what? I didn't reread the Hunger Games or anything like that. I'm just going to go based on it with my memory. So that could be good or bad. We'll have to see. So longest intro ever. Just come along with me as we read Sunrise on the Reaping. And I'm really hoping this does well, because I want a Finnick origin story so bad. A Finnick and Annie falling in love. I want a Joanne backstory. I want all the backstories. Like, it's kind of what Harry Potter I wanted. I don't want to go into the future. I want to go in the back. I want to, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of want that as well with this. So fingers crossed I'll like it. I'll keep you updated. Oh, hi. It is the next day. Sorry, the sun is literally right here. I have read some. Surprisingly, not a lot. I did have a bookmark, but apparently it's gone. But I am on page 45, so I haven't read a lot because, I keep taking breaks to try to remember things about the original, which in retrospect, I should have probably reread the original, but, I don't have time to do that. So Wikipedia is my friend. So basically, the beginning of the book starts off with Haymitch's 16th birthday, and his birthday is on July 4th, which is the reaping day always. So he is just thinking it's another day. The reaping comes every year. He is used to it. And he's just going to his work. He has a great mother. His father passed away, sadly, and he has a younger brother who he really adores, and he's also in love with his girlfriend, Lenora Dove, who is part of the Cubbies, which, if you don't know, is kind of Lucy Bard, also kind of Katniss, if you will. So the Cubbies are like really musical and stuff like that. So basically, it's just a typical day for him. He goes to his work, then he goes hang out with Lenora, and then he gets into the whole reaping. And coincidentally enough, because this is the Quarter Quell, which is the 50th anniversary of the Hunger Games, that means 2 tributes, 2 boys and 2 girls instead of 1. His name does not get called for either of them, which is just, I did not expect at all. But basically what happens, the second boy that gets picked runs away, and he gets by the peacekeepers, of course. And so Lenora is trying to comfort that boy's mother because she is like wailing, and Lenora knows like you're gonna get in trouble with the peacekeepers. And basically Haymitch sees the peacekeepers come over, and he tries to intervene. And then what do you know? The person who, I forget who's like pretty much like Effie Trinket, her Drusilla, which, side note, every time I see the word Drusilla, I just think of Buffy. That is the only mention of Drusilla I have ever read. If you don't know Spike and Drusilla, she was an interesting character for sure.
Look at all the people. Are these nice people?
We're getting along.
This one has power. I could feel it from the outside.
But either way, Drusilla's like, you know what? Let's not kill him. He's going to be the one picked. He's going to be the one that's reaped. That is what happens, is he wasn't even really picked, but he wasn't really even, his name wasn't drawn out. He was just kind of just plucked out of there. And so that's where I'm kind of at. And I've also been having to look back because there are so many characters in this. Because if you think about it, it's the 50th Hunger Games. We are introduced in the very beginning of the first Hunger Games, and it's the 74th. So it's only 24 years later. So Haymitch is what, 16, 26, 36. He's like in his 40s, like early 40s. So we get to see in this book Katniss's parents. Burdock. Burdock is her dad, and he is very interested in Astrid, who is Katniss's mom, and she's the town beauty. So it was very interesting seeing them for a glimpse. I don't know if we're going to see them in the future. I'm hoping so, but it's interesting to know that Haymitch kind of knew her parents. Whether he did or not in the movies and stuff, I don't remember, honestly. And also, a big thing of who's in this is freaking Plutarch. He is in this. And I was like, what? In this, he is not like, I forget what he was. He was a big deal in the original trilogy. Like, he was higher up. He wasn't the gamekeeper, but he was, like, higher up. He would, like, oversee everything. Or maybe he was like that in the second one. Maybe he was the gamekeeper in the second one. Because I think Seneca Crane was the first one. Anyway, in this one, he's just kind of a cameraman. He is the cameraman for District Actions, pretty much. And you can tell he is the only one out of everybody that kind of works for the Capitol that has a smidgen of a heart. Because Drusilla's like, you're not going to get any time with your family. You're just going to straight up go into the car. And Plutarch's like, oh, I need a couple more reactions. And he'll give him like 3 minutes. So you can tell there is a little bit of humanity in him. So I'm interested to see how that's going to come into fruition, or if this is the only kind of chance that he will get in this book. But basically, we're at the part where they're on the train, and Haymitch is trying to decide who he's going to be aligned with. One was Luella, who was his friend, one of the girls that was picked, and the other one, Maisley, I think that's her name. She's kind of Richie in District 12, which is saying a lot, and she's uppity, so that's interesting how it's going to be. And the other boy that was picked, I want to say his name was Wyatt. Yeah, we don't know much about him. So yeah, we also got a snippet of the Malarks because they just talked about him, how his dad owns the bakery. So it's just interesting new because obviously District 12 is very small, so everyone's going to know everybody. Family runs deep. You get the gist. They even talked about Lucy Bard a little bit as being the only District 12 winner other than obviously Haymitch. So yeah, that's my update for now. It's a long update, but that's why I want to do this vlog, because I knew I was going to have snippets to talk about while reading. So I'm interested to see. Hopefully today we'll at least get a quarter of the way to halfway through the book. I would really like that a lot. So I'm fully aware that I do not look good. It's the end of the day, so I've been through it. But I was not going to update you, but then I was like, I have to. So I think I last talked to you when I was on page like 50 or so. I'm now on page 200, so I'm over halfway through the book, and last time I talked to you, I was already like kind of blown away that there were so many characters that we kind of already kind of knew. Like Plutarch was the big one, and whew, even more. Like so District 12 did not have a mentor because the only mentor they had was, I don't know if I did tell you about that, but the only mentor that they would have had would have been Lucy, because she's the only District 12 winner. So who should they have as mentors but Wyrus, who won last year's games? She's from District 3, and Mags, who of course is from District 4. And I was like, oh my gosh, we get to see a young Max, because we only see her catching fire when Finnick was taking care of her, and she was just the sweetest old lady who sacrificed herself to save Annie's life. And oh my gosh, and then even more, we get to see BT when he was young. He is a mentor. Not only that, but his son, sadly, is in the games because BT is being punished for kind of trying to expose the games. And so pretty much his son was picked at reaping, and he's only 13. And oh gosh, this is a hard one. Like, Hunger Games did such a good job with making you really fall in love with Katniss and Peeta, and then eventually Rue when it was more of the games, but you really only got to see Katniss and Peeta. This one's a lot different. I would say that The Hunger Games is more plot driven. You get to really be immersed in the games. This one is definitely more character driven, much like her previous prequel, The Ballad of Songs, Birds, and Snakes. It really dives into Haymitch, and you learn about his backstory. Like, and I'm interested because he really cares about everyone in his district, and even Luella, who was like his ally. She sadly got killed even before the game started. Like, and you know what? It's like Haymitch was the original Katniss, if you will, too, because after Luella got killed, he kind of presented her body to President Snow, like, isn't this what you want? And President Snow talked to him, and he's like, you better watch your back because I know who you love. Pretty much when he was telling Katniss, you know? Like, it's very much parallel. So it makes me think that obviously we already know what's going to happen. Not to the full extent of what's going to happen in the games, but we know Haymitch he wins. And I don't think he's going to backstab anybody. I think it's going to be a lot of tragic things. Like, we already know that Ampert, BT's son's going to pass away, which is just, oh, I feel so bad. But we can probably see now why Haymitch was kind of a drunken recluse, didn't care about anything when Katniss and Peeta met him, because he probably lost everything, and so he's like, I'm just gonna become another cog in the wheel, so why should I give a crap? And then maybe when Katniss started showing signs that she wasn't gonna sit down and take it like everybody else, she was gonna stand up and fight back and be kind of almost start a revolution, Haymitch is like, oh, I see a lot of myself in her, so let's, you know, not to say, but hitch my wagon to this ride. But I mean, it's kind of like he was like the original Katniss. BT is already like kind of in it with wanting to destroy the games, and then we get to see Plutarch, which I thought he was going to be totally covert in this book, like just you don't know his true mission, because we all know he's been wanting to kind of head up the rebellion or be really part of the rebellion. He was back in it even from the beginning. So basically, right now I'm in the books right before they go to the games. They've already done like their training. Haymitch got freaking a 1. They did their interviews, and yeah, I think they're about to enter the arena next, and it's going to be interesting to say the least. Also, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you, we get to see freaking Effie Trinket, which I was not expecting. They had their dressers, if you will, like Senna, you know, and their guy was just horrible. And they had these apprentices that helped get the makeup and stuff, and then basically one of the girls, like Prospera was her name, is like, my sister's amazing. She told me to, you know, look up on the bright side, and then who do you know but her sister comes in, and it's Effie, and you can see even her beginnings from back then. So you get to see so many characters when they were younger, in their teens and then their early 20s, their backstories coming to fruition, just to see, like, just to kind of put the puzzle pieces together. I'm enamored by this book. I'm not surprised. I'm definitely liking it way more than Songbirds of Snakes, because this is only like 20 or so years ago before Katniss, so it feels more accurate to what it was. But it is interesting to read now, as it is in the quarter quell, the 50th anniversary of Hunger Games, of how much it's progressed, of how much President Snow has put his spin on it, because he's the one that started the whole sponsors. He made it more like a spectacle for the public to get really invested in, you know, send gifts to them and things like that, and take threats and, you know, make them invested in it. So President Snow really is, and you can even see from even when he's only 50 something in this book, he's already doing he's still doing his poison game, and it's still messing him up. And oh gosh, it's just, I know this book is gonna make me want to watch the whole trilogy again, and I'm just gonna probably just cry a ton. Like, I know I've gotten a little bit sad, but I know for sure I'm gonna cry, because I only have this much left, and it's this much left is probably gonna make me sob buckets. I knew reading this was not going to be fun because it's such a heartbreaking series. Like, you know what's going to happen. You already can see where it's going, especially with prequels and stuff. Doesn't make it any easier, my friends. It makes it harder. It really, really does. Page 275. Oh crap, this has a poster in it? Is that what the Target exclusive was? I was wondering what it was. Let's see what this poster looks like. I'll look at it in a second. But I am I have this much through. Am I taking my sweet time with it? Yes, because it keeps getting heartbreaking. It is... I've only got like literally 100 pages left. I'm going to try my best to finish it tonight. I'm just not sure if I will. I'm going to try my best. Needless to say, it's not going well. We're on day 5, I believe, of the Hunger Games, of the actual arena, being in the arena. And the arena is like a meadow, but like all the food's poisonous, all the water's poisonous. Haymitch is trying to blow it up, but it's not working. Ampert has died. Oh, it's like, you already know BD's son is going to die. Does it make it any easier? No, he's 12. He doesn't deserve this. And oh my gosh, it's depressing. Lulu has passed away. Wyatt, so many other people. Maisie and Haymitch have, banded together. Maisie's going to die, but she has made such a character growth from when we first read her. She was just kind of an uppity, snobby girl, but, when they were training, she made trinkets for everyone, like their tokens into, like, necklaces, because she's really good at braiding, and she loves jewelry, and she saved Haymitch from panache, like, oh, I don't know how she's gonna die, I don't know how he's even gonna win, I'm not sure. It's bananas. Like, I don't know if this is gonna, like, end right when he wins the Hunger Games, if we're gonna glimpse of him going home at all, because it's got 100 pages left. I don't know how much, you know what I'm saying? Because with Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, with Lucy Bard, you got, like, half of it was her after the Hunger Games. And I'm trying to think, I believe the Hunger Games ended, like, right after Katniss and Peeta won, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it has been that long since I have read it. Will I watch the movies after reading this book? You bet your bottom dollar, because this paints Haymitch in a totally different picture, which I think is just amazing what prequels can do. So that's my update for now. My heart is shattered. It's going to get more shattered, I can imagine. You can already see how Haymitch is, he's going to win, but, in the future, he's kind of a drunk and a recluse and doesn't care. And you're starting to see kind of why, because he's losing everybody he loves. But there hasn't been, I don't think, a defining moment of him, like, kind of going in that kind of dark area. I mean, there could be a lot of moments, obviously for that. But man, it's just insane also the kind of parallels you see with the Hunger Games, the first book, and this book, with Haymitch and Katniss. It was almost like Haymitch didn't care, and then finally he saw a little bit of himself in Katniss, with her kind of being a revolution and wanted to break, like, the cycle, and seeing how she could really do it when he really wanted to, but he couldn't. Obviously he fails, you can tell. So, man, it's just bananas. Like, if she doesn't continue on with, like, more prequels, I will be heartbroken, because, like, I think everyone, in the age bracket that I'm in, I'm 36. I think anyone who read the Hunger Games trilogy when they were teenagers, kind of really early young adults, like, this is going to hit them hard, and they're going to kind of, like, this just reminds me of why I fell in love with the trilogy, and how heartbreaking and desolate and scary the world is, and how it could come to this. It truly could. Would it surprise me? Not at all. This freaking Target exclusive poster. I mean, it's just the poster of the quarter quell. Like, am I going to hang this up in my room? Like, why would they do this? Like, I could see when I was younger and reading the Hunger Games, I'd be stoked about this, but I'm older now. Like, I don't do posters anymore. I mean, I'll keep it in the book forever, but it just says, coming soon, the 50th Hunger Games quarter quell. No peace, no prosperity, no Hunger Games, no peace. Broadcast live to all Panem. And then you have the, all the books so far, so... Freaking Hunger Games, freaking President Snow. Gosh, the more I think about it, I didn't love Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but reading this now, I could see the importance of it and how it really kind of showed deconstructed Snow of who he really was and how he came to be who he, is. So, yeah, it's interesting. God. Hello. So I finally finished Sunrise in the Reading. I finished it late last night. Like, after I put my kids to bed, I was like, I have to finish it because I only had a little bit left. And it was, sorry, I'm outside, so you're gonna hear things. It was every bit as heartbreaking as I said it was gonna be, so I'm not surprised at all. Like, you knew what the outcome, that Haymitch was the sole survivor, and you knew people were gonna die, but it didn't make it any easier. It doesn't. Maisalie's death was hard. She was such an amazing character because in the beginning you hated her, but then she kept showing the Capitol like, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm going to defy you, and ultimately it cost her life because she killed a gamekeeper, which reminded me so much of Songbirds of Snakes. And then, gosh, how Haymitch, like, there were so many quotable things, and it was late last night, so I did not put it in there. But basically, at the very end, when Haymitch is trying to protect Welly, he gets a gift, and it's like milk. And it was kind of the same milk that he was asked to get Snow, and he like poured it away, and Snow like kind of knew it, and so he's like, this is not from Plutarch, this is from Snow. He said, it's from Snow, this milky death. That fate I've been trying to defy ever since I saw that perverse birthday cake on the train has come home to roost in the raven in the poem, forever perched upon my chamber door. I am completely in Snow's power, and it is to manipulate. His puppet, his pawn, his plaything. It is his poster I am painting, his propaganda. I am trapped into doing his bidding in the Hunger Games, the best propaganda the Capitol has. Like, it just goes to show you how much power Snow has and how he will eviscerate everyone. Even when Haymitch won the Hunger Games and, you know, they really didn't want him to win, Snow tells him, enjoy your homecoming because it is not good. They torture. How we saw Mags and Wireless in Catching Fire is because of Haymitch, because they helped him and do things, you know, send him gifts and help him kind of win the Hunger Games. So they tortured Mags to where she's kind of older and more frail, and then they tortured Wireless. Now she's kind of, you know, she was kind of sputtering gibberish. They kind of almost made her insane, if you will. Like, they did that. And then when Haymitch gets home, his house is on fire, and Snow has set his house on fire and killed his mother and his brother. And it's like, oh my gosh, this dude will, like, he will destroy everything you love. And then he goes to see Lenore Dove, and she's excited, and she's eating a bag of gumdrops. She's like, now I can eat the gumdrops you gave me, because he gave her gumdrops right before he was reaped. And he's like, these aren't it? She's like, no, those are under my bed. I just found these. And they're blood red. And he knows immediately that they are from Snow. And so she dies. So, like, everybody that he loves dies. So that is why he has turned the way he was. President Snow's crystal clear image to me and on my homecoming that I will never get to love anyone ever again, because he will make sure they end up dying a horrible death. And so I drive everyone who could ever be considered dear to me. So he drives away freaking Katniss's parents. They were around for a while. And at the very, there's so much to talk about, like, in this. Plutarch's talking to him about the revolution, and Haymitch is like, I'm done. Like, they've taken everything away from me. I'm not going to do what you can do. And so basically he tells Plutarch, I just don't know, but I do know you need someone different from me. And he says, no, Haymitch, we need somebody exactly like you, just luckier, or with better timing, having an army at their back. Katniss. So he literally sees Katniss, like himself in Katniss, and so many, like, things. And at the end, they do have, like, a very end thing when Katniss and Peter were trying to write a whole book, and they didn't want to write it, and then Haymitch finally tells everybody about everything, and then Katniss comes with some geese eggs, not to eat, but to hatch, because of Lenore Dove. And, basically it says, and when the eggs hatch, mine were the first face those goslings saw. Sometimes they just graze on the green, but fine days we've been known to wander over the meadow. Lenore Doves likes it best there, and I'm content where she's content. Like the geese, we really did mate for life. It's just, man, like, 5 out of 5. This book, like, 5 out of 5. It really delves into Haymitch, and you get to see so much progression from each of these characters of how we met them and how they came to be. Like, man, this really has, like, I have to go rewatch all the movies now. It broke my heart. And I do love how the ending note of the author, Suzanne Collins, it says, to all my wonderful readers, thanks for once again returning to Panem and investing in these characters and their struggles, even when you know the eventual outcome. The snow may fall, because snow lands on top, but the sun also rises. Like, oh, man, the more I think about it, the more how much I was, like, not really invested in Songbirds and Snakes, and now I can see how much crucial it is to learn about Snow and his manipulative ways to make the propaganda and make people believe and make people care about the Hunger Games, but also selling people and killing anybody, literally anybody that views anything differently or tries to defy the Capitol. He will take you down like that. Like, it is just phenomenal. I hate him, but he's a phenomenal villain. Like, he is a true kind of just villain. So, oh man, it was an amazing book. I'm interested to see what she's gonna do because I feel like she has to do more with this. So, I mean, who's to say? I really think we need to get a Finnick story. Yeah. And BT is another kid apparently because they were like I don't know. I could talk on and on. I'm probably missing some few factors too, but I would love to know what you thought about it, what you liked about it, didn't like about it. I have no notes, but I will say I am going to read a super cute romance right now because as much as I love the Hunger Games and stuff, it's bleak. It's bleak on bleak on bleak. You know, it's like, ugh. So I'm going to read something happy and fluffy and light to take my mind off of it. But yeah, this will definitely be on my favorites by the end of the year because Suzanne Collins did it again. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this spoiler kind of talk with me reading it, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want more videos like these where I really kind of go into a book and read it and just talk about my thoughts, like, and spoiler sporadically in it, let me know. I'm just a mixed ball of emotions because this book is just going to have me in a chokehold for a while. It really, really will. Bye, guys.